Hey everybody, I'm NOWSKI. Thanks for watching another one of my videos. Today I am bringing you another video about my nurse practitioner school journey. I know it's been a minute, life has been pretty busy, but I know in my first two videos I kind of talked about an intro to NP school, and then I talked about the first summer session and my first full fall semester. So since then I have taken a full spring semester and one more summer session, and I am here to tell you about it. So this was my busiest semester of NP school. I was in 4 classes. 2 of those had clinical components, 2 did not. But at the same time, I was still working 2 days a week, and I was teaching as a grad teaching assistant 1 day a week. So my life was busy, like crazy busy. Right now I'm on a summer break where I actually got about a month and a half off. So that's nice. So I am gearing this video to anyone who's interested in nurse practitioner school, letting you know what my journey's like. So like in the last video, I want to tell you about these classes and basically what the experience is like. So the classes that I took were adult health, mental health, community health, and what was the last one? Statistics. The first class I'll talk about is adult health. This is basically one of your biggest courses of nurse practitioner school. If you go to a primary care nurse practitioner school, I'm sure every school names their courses a little bit different, but this is the big one where you learn how to diagnose and treat all sorts of disorders. It comes hand in hand with pharmacology. So I took pharmacology last semester, and that was nice because coming into adult health, they don't reteach you the medicines. You got to carry that over with you. That's the biggest thing I'm learning in nurse practitioner school, is that you don't get retaught stuff. So everything they taught you in pharmacology, you got to be ready to use it in adult health. The biggest thing that was new here in adult health was learning to actually diagnose the problems. In pharmacology, you're learning meds and you do learn what they treat, so you're already learning a little bit about the disorders, but you're not really learning how to go in, and just diagnose the disorder. So that's what adult health was like. Because it's a primary care program, we're not like learning how to treat sepsis and things like that, intracranial hemorrhages. We are learning things like your asthma, your COPD, your all sorts of cardiac primary care stuff, your dermatology, your eye disorders, your ear disorders, stuff like that, stuff that people would go into an office to get assessed. That's basically what we were learning. Going along with adult health, you add a clinical component. So I know in a lot of acute care programs, you do all your lectures, like maybe the first 2 semesters, and then it's all clinicals from there. In this program, you're actually taking your course and your clinical at the same time. So for adult health, they wanted us to be with a family practice or an internal med office. I think some people might have been able to do an urgent care clinic as well. But basically, we were just working in an office setting, seeing all sorts of office-based primary care patients. So I was in an internal med office, saw a range of disorders, everything from skin to cardiac to pulmonary to psych. So it was a great experience. I will say that was the best way to learn, was actually in clinical. Altogether, I feel like the most learning happens on the job or in the clinical. So that was most beneficial to me. Taking this course, basically we had a midterm and a final and a couple quizzes scattered between. So it was pretty intense. The way I did it really is I would type the title of a disorder and then basically how it's diagnosed and how it's treated. So like signs and symptoms, how it's diagnosed, how it's treated. And I just did that a page for each disorder, and I think I had by the end, like 90 pages, and I just kept it in a notebook. I don't have it on me, or I'd show you. Actually, I kept it basically on a PDF file, so I was opening it on my iPad. That basically got me through that course, and that was adult health. Passed it. It's something I'm going to have to carry over to my next classes, so that's why basically, I think before school starts, which is in like 10 days, I feel like that would be a good thing to review, is go through that notebook and kind of just refresh myself how to diagnose this stuff. Because my next class, I'm actually taking gerontology and frail elder, so I'm just kind of carrying that to the older people. Next class that I took was mental health. This was a really cool class. Basically, you're learning, same thing, how to diagnose and how to treat mental disorders. So what was new to here was the mental health meds as well. We did not learn those in pharmacology. Those were specifically taught in mental health. Really cool class. Learned a lot of stuff I didn't know. Realized that you see a lot of this mental health stuff in primary care. So even if you're going into primary care, it's something that you need to know. Along with mental health lecture, we took a clinical. So we were with mental health providers. We went to psych hospitals and got to round with NPs and MDs in those hospitals. And we actually even went to some primary care settings and took care of mental health issues. So this is everything from depression, anxiety, bipolar disorders, personality disorders, schizophrenia, all that sort of stuff we got to learn in mental health. It was a really good experience. And that is that. That was mental health. For as far as how the class was laid out, it was a midterm, a final, and some little homework assignments scattered throughout. I'm seeing that basically in every class. There's midterm, a final, and maybe a few little assignments in between. But that one went well. That was mental health. The third class I took was community health. This class, it was community health, and I forget what the main name of the course was, and NP role development, I believe it was called. So it was team taught by two professors. I feel like the first part, you're learning about the history of community nursing in America and legislation that led to stuff, and basically where nurses play a part in the community. I thought maybe we would have got more into like epidemics and pandemics and things like that, spread of disease. We didn't really get into that, but we learned about the role of the nurse in the community, and then basically the other half was basically NP role development. It was a weird mix of a class, but the second half we had some quizzes, and then we had a big paper that we had to write about. Basically for that paper we had to pick a public health issue that's affecting America, and then we had to look up some organization that I probably should know. It's like the NP Organization of America. Basically, they list the core competencies that an NP should have by the time they are practicing NP. So we had to take a public health issue, look at those core competencies that an NP should have, and then basically explain how we could use our competencies to help treat that public health issue. So that was like the biggest assignment of community health. There was no clinical component. Last course that I took was a math course. It was statistics. So I didn't know what to think about this class. If anyone has a statistics class and they see it in their NP curriculum, you do have to take a master's level statistics class as a part of a lot of NP programs. So that's what this was. It strictly was a math class. They kind of incorporated healthcare into it. They did their best because they're gearing you towards nursing research. Basically, you're learning how to trend data, put it on graphs, really how to read. When you see like a scientific journal article and you have like a table of all this data, they're basically teaching you how to interpret that data. How did they decide that, an intervention is considered statistically significant and should be considered good and put into evidence-based practice. It was all equation-based, so basically we had these standard equations that we would plug numbers in. All our tests, they would give us a word problem, we'd plug in these numbers into these equations. It was nice. She let us have a cheat sheet with all the equations on it, because there's no way in hell I was going to remember all those equations. So that was statistics, and that completed my spring semester. It was crazy busy. There was a point where I bombed an adult health quiz, bombed it, got a 60 something, and I was freaking out thinking it was going to ruin my grade and maybe I wouldn't pass, because in NP school, you have to have a 75 or higher in the class in order to progress or whatever. And I mean, I had it, but it's like that one quiz kind of brought me down before the final and made me freak out. You know, juggling work and the grad teaching assistant thing and personal life. So it was definitely a busy semester, but it passed it. Once I feel like I got over the hump. So that was nice. And then right after that, we went straight into summer class. So I took in the summer, this was nursing research, or wait, specifically, I wrote it down. Design and methods of nursing research. That was the name of the class. So this wasn't a class, at first I thought this was a class like, I'm gonna have to go out and do surveys and gather data and just put together this research paper. Luckily, it wasn't that stressful. What it really was the reviewing of research literature and then just coming to conclusions. So we did the whole thing, the whole class revolved around writing a paper where we would basically think of a question and then look through, review the literature and see what we found. I decided to basically question, anyone could pick anything. It was pretty nice, whatever you were interested in. So I chose the question, is sexual orientation and gender identity data being gathered by healthcare providers and put into patients' healthcare records? That was my question. So then we went into the research. We used our university library databases of journals and stuff. And we had to find, I don't know, it was like 5 or 6 articles that basically answered that. So I found a bunch of articles. We had to then write a paper of the data that we found. And then at the very end of our paper, we had to find where's the gap in research. Basically prep for an actual research project that we didn't have to do. But I found through the research that about the majority of the time, sexual orientation and gender identity data is not being put into patient charts. So my final research question was, what are the barriers to gathering that sort of data to put in healthcare records? And I ended up getting an A on it. So it was a pretty decent class. There were points where, on top of the paper, we had to learn about research methods and forms of studies and types of research you can do. It can get a little bit boring, but we made it through it. So now I'm on a little summer break and I'm about to start a fall semester. So that will be 3 classes. And then after that, I just have 1 more semester and I graduate in May. This coming fall, I'm going to be in a gerontology class, a frail elder class. Those 2 have clinical components. And then I am in a women's health lecture. So that's what's coming up. Just wanted to keep you guys updated. I will let you know what's going on. I hope to make more videos once I get, organized into this semester. I have ideas for other videos, especially talking about the difference between NP programs. That seems to be a big question that I get. Why did I choose AGNP versus acute care versus FNP versus pediatrics? All that sort of stuff. So watch out for more videos here on my NOWSKI Vlogs channel. Thanks for watching. If you're new to this, feel free to subscribe if you want to hear more. I hope everyone's doing well wherever you are. If you're someone who's starting nursing school, nurse practitioner school, you're just researching one of the 2, you're not in either, you're just some stranger watching this, hope you're doing well, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.